Joining us right now, football guy, on the call last night, the voice of the Eagles, Merrill Reese. Merrill, good morning.
Morning. It's a great morning. What a game.
Yes,
I'm still falling out.
Yeah, Merrill, it really was. It brought me back, Merrill. It's very rare you get a 0-0 game at the half. It's rare you get a game that low scoring, and it's rare that it's also entertaining. Merrill, I didn't think that was so much it was bad offense the way sometimes those games are when it's low scoring. I thought it was just excellent defense led by the Eagles front seven last night, Merrill.
You're absolutely right. It was a terrific football game. It was a gritty game. It was played at Football Shrine, Lombardi Stadium. It was a great game, and the Eagles had the guts and the desire. They just willed their way to win that game. It was a terrific game, and it was a lot of fun to broadcast with Mike Quick.
Merrill, what was your takeaway watching Jaelan Phillips' first game as an Eagle?
Amazing. I mean, sometimes a guy eases his way into his activity with a new team and his role. He just took charge. I mean, he was an impact player from the time he stepped on the field.
Yes, he was.
He was all over the place. Pressures, a lot of snaps out there. He did a heck of a job. And Merrill, it was one of those games where you felt like one or two big plays was going to win it because it just was so low scoring. And Merrill, the drive where the Eagles got their touchdown, it was two of their stars. First, it was Saquon Barkley, who was tough sledding, but he made that catch and then that spin move for the big gain. And then Devontae Smith, for a guy of his size, he really has a knack for jumping as high as he can and out-jumping those DBs. That was a heck of a catch for the touchdown.
It was, and also a great pass by Jalen Hurts. Those two are on just such a wavelength that they can read each other's minds, and they just coordinate everything between them. That was just a gorgeous pass and a great catch.
It was. And Merrill, last night was the first time we got to see the team post by. And I was impressed with the plan that Vic Fangio had. The defense, decent in the first half of the season, not as great as it was last year. But this night against a Packers offense, Merrill, that has a good quarterback and has a good play caller, that they really shut them down. It wasn't just Phillips. It was everyone. Jomo and Carter. It was just a great effort by the defense.
Well, up front in the secondary.
Yeah.
I mean, there were so many great plays made by Quinyon Mitchell. And really, there were so many good plays made by Adoree Jackson, who's been criticized so much during the season. But he made some big-time plays.
Merrill, how about the play of Nakobe Dean? I wasn't sure when he came back, number one, what kind of season he'd have, because that was a pretty major injury he had in the postseason. And two, how much he would play, because Jahad Campbell was playing well as a rookie. But, Merrill, Nakobe has played, and to me, he's been very impactful. I mean, he had the strip sack last night. He had a big tackle in the open field. I've loved the way he's played, and their run defense has been much better since he got back.
The interesting thing, Joe, is that when he was drafted, he was picked in the third round, and a lot of people projected him to be at least in the middle of the first round. I mean, the Eagles stole him in the third round out of the University of Georgia, and he's a great football player. He is really exceptional.
He is, and he's made a difference on this defense since he came back. Merrill, what was your thought as the Eagles were lining up to go for the fourth down play with 33 seconds left in the game on the 35-yard line? I was very surprised.
Little nervous.
I disagreed with it. I thought the punt there, even if it was a touchback, considering the Packers had no timeouts, was the play. Were you surprised? How surprised were you that they were going for it and then they actually did throw it deep?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I didn't think a field goal was in order with the wind and the cold, but I thought that the punt was the way to go. And look, Nick Sirianni was aggressive. He tried to do something, and it just didn't work. But they hung on, and I'll tell you something else. At the end of the game, when Brandon, when he started to line up that field goal, McManus, and they lined it up, and it was going to be a 64-yard field goal. I thought that had zero, not 0.1, but zero chance of being anywhere close because it was cold. The temperature was in the 20s. The wind was blowing. There was no way. They would have been better off throwing a Hail Mary. But that was impossible. It missed by about 30 yards.
Yeah, and when you throw in the fact that he's been banged up, that kicker, and like you said, the weather, I mean, it would have been the longest field goal in the history of Lambeau Field in those conditions and that night.
Yeah, it was a tough spot.
Yeah, it just wasn't going to happen. Merrill, let's look ahead to Sunday because the tough tests do not stop. The Eagles take down the Packers. They're 7-2. They are now tied for the number one seed in the NFC. But here come the Detroit Lions. Merrill, what's your first thought on this game Sunday? Because we had a physical game last night. I imagine we're getting another very physical game this Sunday.
Well, in looking at the season and going into this game after the bye, I thought to myself, if the Eagles take one of the next two games, either Green Bay or Detroit, they're in pretty good shape because they're going to be at least 7-3. But now that they've taken care of the Packers, you kind of get greedy. And I think they're a better team than the Lions. The Lions are getting some good play from Jared Goff. But I just think the Eagles are better, and I think the fans at the Link are just going to be really, really enthusiastic. You're going to hear the roaring of the crowd. It's going to be a great night.
It is. It's going to be a fun night. Sunday Night Football at the Link this weekend. Merrill, enjoy the rest of your day, your week, and we'll catch up during the pregame on Sunday.
I'll tell you, I will enjoy the rest of the day. And, you know, I think when people criticize this team and they say, well, they're not creative enough or they're not doing this or they should have done that, just relax and smell the roses. This team is 7-2. They're winning football games, and they're really putting together a terrific season.
They are, and they have a real chance to get back to the Super Bowl again. Merrill, thank you for hopping on. We'll talk Sunday. Enjoy the day, Merrill.
Thanks a lot, Merrill.
Okay, Joe.
There he goes.
Thank you.
There he goes. The voice of the Eagles, Merrill Reese.